Good evening. Welcome back to another episode of Touchdown Talk, College Football Edition. Today is October 8th, 2025, and we have our Week 6 recap of college football. A bunch of, I guess you could say just weird. It was a weird week. Some went expected, some did not. Some went very unexpected. James Franklin. Um, but overall, 3-4 this weekend. We'll recap. Michigan minus 16.5. Loss. It was a win. It was perfect. And somehow just at the end it did not happen. I expected Michigan to score more than 24 points. And they did not. I don't know how. It was only, 10-7 at halftime. Just kind of a tough read there. I would have taken it over and over again, just with how Wisconsin's been this year. But I don't know. It was just a weird game. Hang on, sorry. Got to. Next up, Iowa State moneyline. Another rough one there, mainly because I did not know the injury bug that was going around Iowa State. I thought that line was weird. Now I see why it was Cincinnati minus 1.5. Cincinnati got out to an early big lead, and I thought it was done. But then all of a sudden, Iowa State comes roaring back and has a chance at the end, and just can't get it done. It was tough, but I would have not taken this. I would not have told you guys to take this if I'd known all that. So that's on me there. Next, we move to Georgia, Kentucky. I told you guys 48.5. I did not have 48.5. I'm sorry. I meant 49.5. And I'm glad because it was literally right at 49. Georgia covered and won convincingly. Really just kind of running the ball. Not even a whole bunch of passing, especially in the second half. I mean, it was 17-7, 21-7 at half. And so then at that point, Georgia just kind of controlled the game, chewed the clock, added two more scores. Kentucky had another one in the fourth. But, yeah, I mean, you look at last year's game, it's 13-12 or whatever it was. And these two teams are just not as good as last year's teams. And for Kentucky, that's saying a lot. But it just felt like a gross game. It wasn't too particularly gross for Georgia, but just this game in general screamed gross. And so, yeah, there's the under. Cash that. That's first win of the week. We needed that because Penn State and James Franklin need to be scorched off the earth after that performance. You let a guy who's my age, probably looks like he could be younger than me, draw up basically a perfect rushing attack the whole game with Nico leading the rushing attack, and they're up 27-7 at halftime on you. I mean, you just got punched in the mouth, and then while you were down, you got kicked. I mean, I think they just thought that UCLA would roll over and just let them have this game, which is what I thought would happen. Terrible read by me. But UCLA, with an interim, Tim Skipper, looked like the better team and looked like they wanted to be there more. Now, I get Big Ten, you're traveling across the country. Believe me, I think it's the stupidest thing in college football. But you got to come prepared to play. All right, it's a football game. You're putting your tape out there to go to the next level. You're putting it out there in case you're hitting the portal, which I feel like a lot of UCLA guys are. just with their future up in the balance, not knowing what's going on. But it's the same thing for Penn State and Joe Aller. You're putting the tape out there to be a first-round pick, a top 3 quarterback. You know, you have the potential to be. So go out there and act like it. And there's 2 weeks in a row where throwing the ball has not really looked the best. Oregon, I understand, because their defense. But UCLA, now you did show fight at the end, but showing fight against an 0-4 UCLA team is inexcusable, and losing it, honestly. I mean, why do you punt there at the end? Honestly, I think at that point you have to go for it with a minute left. You got to stop, but then you're at the 10-yard line with 20-yard line with 7 seconds left. Like, what are you going to do there? And they did exactly what I thought. So, James Franklin not being able to win the big one is pretty typical. But losing this really raises some eyebrows across the country, and maybe at Penn State on the campus itself. They have to win out to have a chance for the college football playoff, because right now they can just kiss it goodbye. Moving on to our next games at 2:30, Florida +6. Now, what a performance by Florida and Billy Napier when they needed it most, frankly. Because if you let Texas come in there and just do whatever they wanted, Billy Napier's probably not the coach today. But Florida was like a wounded dog back against the wall, came out barking, and came out hot. You're what, 29-7? I mean, you're just controlling the game on both sides of the ball. You're putting Arch Manning in a blender the whole game. And it got closer at the end, but I was never worried. With a minute left, you're telling me Texas is going to go down and score and then get the 2 points to tie out the game? No. Florida +6. One of the easiest wins I'll have. Well, for this weekend, considering I only had 3. But of the season. I mean, right read. Florida looked like the Florida we thought would come out this year. Not be 2-3, but about 4-1, I'd say, with your one loss to either Miami or LSU. Because I think you win one of those, probably losing the other, but you just don't look respectable in the first game against LSU. Next week you play Miami, and then yeah, it's tough. But good win there for Florida, much needed. See if they can do something against no, I think A&M has Auburn this weekend. They may have a bye. Florida may have a much needed bye week. So moving on, we have Alabama -10.5. What a cover. What a cover. Because you started out the run defense for Alabama was not too hot, giving up the big one. Early to go down 7-0 against Vandy. Then you throw a pick. But then you step up, you tie it up, you let Vandy kind of go down and do whatever. They're up 14-7 on you. Stadium's a little quiet. They have a chance to go up 21-7, and Diego Pavia, who you would not think, fumbles the ball inside the red zone. Now that is a huge turning point in the game, because at that point, Vandy obviously did not score the rest of the game. And then with 2 minutes left, I mean, not even, there's less than 30 seconds actually until halftime. Alabama goes down and punches in and tie it up. Now Vanderbilt gets the ball. That's a huge blow though. But Vanderbilt comes out and gets stopped quickly on the first drive out of second half. So then all the momentum shifted from here in the middle, Vandy over here, Alabama over here, all the way over here to Bama. And they go down and they get a field goal, and then another field goal, and another field goal. Meanwhile, Vandy's looking to just get across midfield. And something about Bama's defense really turned it on and just kind of went on cruise control. It was like they were playing in a trance, honestly. Diego Pavia was getting bottled up. He could not run. The run game was ineffective at that point. And then forcing him to throw the ball in that secondary is kind of what Bama wanted, and they got it, and they executed it. So then with, 2 minutes left, all you need is a first down, and you can go down and win the game. You can kneel it out. But Jam Miller takes it about 18 yards for a touchdown to hit Alabama minus 10.5. So I wouldn't say they rolled this weekend, but they looked dominant and also just kind of back to the Alabama form that we thought we would see. So it leads me to believe that, last week was a huge game against Georgia. Huge. This week is really the game, like I said last video, that you build that momentum and really go into conference play and just start kicking butt. I mean, honestly. So, big win for Alabama. It's righted the ship. You look at week one and you're thinking, how did they lose that to this Florida State team? You play that game right now, and I think Alabama wins, and I think they win significantly. I think they run the SEC at this point because you can't tell me another team besides them is better. The only team that you can make a case for is maybe Alabama. Alabama. What am I saying? Is maybe Oklahoma. But they don't have a John Mateer, so yeah, we'll see how they look this weekend if he plays or if he doesn't play. Because if he plays, is he 100%? If he doesn't, you're needing OU's defense to hold to them to about 0 points. So, but we'll talk about that in a later video. My predictions for Week 7, the big week of college football. Last one, tough loss. I thought it was shot, honestly. Miami, Florida State over 54. Miami is the best team in the country, plain and simple. I mean, I think they are better than Ohio State. I think they're better than Oregon because both sides of the ball are very complete for them. And they showed that for 52 minutes of the game. And then they kind of took their foot off the gas, but you're up 25. Like, you're okay. And so, Florida State really just couldn't get anything established on either side of the ball. Defensive wise, they were getting thrown around. I mean, they were getting babied. And then, it's hard whenever you don't throw passes past the line of scrimmage, which is typical Gus Miles on offense. But you don't have the right personnel for that. And this game showed. Because you only had a field goal, and that was maybe the first drive that you came away with 3. I think it was. And then after that, Miami was firing on all cylinders. I mean, you had 2 plays and 14 points from Miami in that span where it was just kind of the stadium went into shock. It was like, oh. But Carson Beck just kind of has this swagger about him this year that he didn't really have at Georgia, that I didn't see last year. This whole team from Miami has a swagger about them. And I think this is Mario Cristobal's best squad, even better than last year, which you can make a case for easily because there was no defense last year. So I think they hit points that they needed in the portal and recruits, and I think Miami is going to be fighting for a spot. I think they'll be one of those last 4 teams this year in the college football playoff. It could be one of the last 2. I can very well see it. But at the end, it is 28-18, I believe. 28-19. I'm sorry, it ended 28-22. And as an over-better, I was like, please go for the touchdown here. Try to get the touchdown. But it makes sense to kick the field goal with that time and hope you can get the onside But if you don't, it's game over. And it was game over for our bet there, too. So, tough week of college football. Really weird week. Things didn't go our way, but that's how some weeks are. Still positive through the last 3 or 4 weeks. That's what we like to see. I will be looking at lines tonight, and we'll hopefully get a video to you guys. If not tomorrow, then Friday, before Friday night games kick off, and then before this weekend of college football kicks off. So we have good weekend college football. Texas, Oklahoma, Indiana at Oregon, college game day. I mean, a lot of good matchups. So we'll we'll get it back. But thank you guys for watching the video, and as always, please leave a like and subscribe. It means a ton to me. It just kind of helps me see what you guys want, what you guys like, what I need to do different. But with that being said, I will talk to you guys later. See ya.